And then we have the education system. I love this. This is another thing. You know, I was just thinking, if you sat down and you said, right, you want to manipulate the mind of the population. So you sat down around a table and you said, look, I don't know whether they'll stand for it, but what would be the best way of turning out young people as clones of our sense of reality we want them to have, because then they'll be controllable. And someone said, well, it's a bit far-fetched, but I'll tell you what we want is a system, and we'll call it education, because it's newspeak, like Orwell talked about. You know, you just give a word for the opposite of what it is. And we'll call it education, and it means that we'll take children from their parents at a very early age, and we'll keep them there about 5 days a week at least, all the way through their formative years, and we'll pound them every day with our version of reality. They'd never stand for that. That's what we have. Now there's two sides of the brain. There's the left brain, which is like this world thinks in words. It thinks in logic. Physical worldview, can I see it, touch it, taste it, smell it? It exists then. And then there's the right brain, which is inspiration, creativity, the artist, the person who does not see limits. Someone who thinks through the heart as well as the brain, the mind. And what the education system wants to do is pour information, most of it provable crap, into the left brain, and it says, hold it there, darlings, until we give you a shout. And then it says, ladies and gentlemen, you have 2 hours to complete this paper. Please pick up your pens. At which point you're supposed to spew out what it has told you onto the paper. And if you do that well, you get rewarded. Hey, my John is very clever. Hey, you get a good job with all those passes. Oh, your John is well indoctrinated, isn't he? Yes. Now, carrot and stick. If you are thinking for yourself, and you're a young guy or a young girl, and you take that stuff in there, and you whip it over there and give it a look. And you go, it's a piece of shit, look at it, look at it. If you tell your exam paper that, there's a phone call. Hello, is that Mrs. Jones? Billy's a disruptive influence in the classroom. You mean he's asking questions? Yes, they'll all want to do it. Yeah? You know, in the last part of the talk, I'm really going to get into the nature of reality and how we create it, because there's so much information and supporting evidence now to give us a real fix on how we create reality, because this is an illusion. But how is it an illusion? How do we create it? More and more knowledge on that. But these guys, these manipulators, know it's an illusion, and they know we're creating it through our minds, and so they know if they program our minds with the right illusion, we'll create it physically. And the education system is massively, massively part of that. As H.L. Mencken, an American writer, said all those years ago, the most dangerous man to any government is the man who is able to think things out for himself. Almost inevitably, he comes to the conclusion that the government he lives under is dishonest, insane, and intolerable. And that is why we are pressured from cradle to grave not to figure it out. Sorry, boys, no can do. So shut up, keep your head down, keep your mouth shut, go with the flow. In life's easier that way. Or, as the Japanese have a national saying, don't be the nail that stands out above the rest, because that's the first one to get hit. That is the mentality. That allows the few to control the many, and without it they couldn't do it. And on the other side, bad monkey, no banana. Ooh, don't play our game. Smacky. You will not progress within our system. Come into line or you're an outcast. Or a rebel. Oh, a rebel. So, this is going to come up a few times as we go along, because this is what's happening every day. And it will become more and more obvious as we go through the day. You have a secret agenda for literally the centralized fascist control of the world, with a world government that would dictate to all nations, a world army that would impose the will of the world government on those nations that did not wish to go with what it was told to do, a world central bank that would dictate the financial system of the world, a world currency, which the European currency is a stepping stone to, which is why they're having no truck with people making a decision. They will not go with a referendum until they know they're going to win it. And a microchip population linked to a global computer. Thousands of people are being microchipped in America now as a result of 9/11, and I'll get into that in the second section of this talk. Now, to introduce this agenda, they need in the movie, that which we see on the television news every day, they have to find excuses to bring in different elements of the agenda by creating mythical excuses for it in the movie. This is why when they want to invade Iraq, secret agenda, want to get in there, I'll go into this in detail later on, they want to go into Iraq because it's part of the process of taking over the Middle East. They need to create an excuse for that in the movie, thus hiding that and justifying the elements of it being introduced. So they come up with weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction, weapons of mass destruction, weapons of mass destruction. The mantra. Once you hear them with a mantra, you know something's coming. So that's how they're doing it, and I'll get into that in detail later. And also, towards the end, I'll get into this part of it, which is the fact that this world, like I say, is an illusion. It's a matrix of manipulated, indoctrinated belief in a reality that suits the agenda, and all it is an illusion. We think when we look over there that the walls of this theater are solid. They cannot be. It is impossible, because they're made of atoms which are anything about as least solid as you can get. We make it solid by our minds, and this is the information. This is the information that's being kept from us so they can manipulate our reality without us realizing that we're creating the reality they're manipulating us to have. Now, and I'm an illusion as well. Now, I saw this in a newsagent's shop as well. These two lady peacocks are saying to the male peacock, cut the crap and show us your willy. And so, I don't want to clear the theater, so I won't take it literally, but that's what we're going to do now. Look behind the movie screen and see what's going on that we're not told about and we don't see.